What's up, guys? This is Lionel. I wanted to explain. Someone asked me basically, in the area of AI and the project that I worked on at my previous company in regards to how did I solve the problem that they had with service desk. Um, Basically, it was a project that was presented by the higher ups to say, okay, we have all of these employees. And every year we have this immense budget that we use to solve service desk issues. And these are bodies. So as you know, we're in the age of AI. I mean, and like I said, we've all been there. I mean, service desks get buried with tickets, blase, blase, blase. And they wanted to pretty much come up with some type of idea, in terms of AI being a virtual agent, as we know, bot, however you want to phrase it. And they say, okay, what platform should we use? I say, does it really matter? Yeah, I guess it does. So because we're a Microsoft shop. So, but the idea was to build some type of product or agent that would pretty much facilitate or reduce the overhead, employees, body count, if you want to phrase it. So I built a virtual agent in Copilot Studio that actually took over the service desk. Pretty much put quite a few employees out of work. Didn't quite like that. But basically, that is one use case that I pretty much showcase in regards to the experience that I've gained over my multi-decade career, merging a lot of my development experience with a platform that will facilitate replacing a department. Copilot Studio really, the reason why we chose, as I said earlier, Copilot Studio was because it was a platform. It was basically, we were a Microsoft shop. And designing virtual agents inside of Copilot Studio is pretty easy compared to the other open source platforms. And basically, from a ease standpoint, as far as from a design standpoint, as far as from a support standpoint, even for people who really didn't have that much development experience, it's a very, very good tool that's easy to use to design agents. And from a deployment standpoint, there's a lot of different ways to deploy. In Copilot Studio, they call them channels. Whether you want to deploy via a web page, you want to deploy via Teams or Copilot, basically it's an all-in-one platform to allow you to be able to do an end-to-end type deployment of a virtual agent. And one extra step that I did take with the agent in terms of deployment is that I actually merged my development experience. I use basically a React.js application to embed the virtual agent. And I also, my development skill also created because as you know, basically when you fire an agent up, if you want to have that agent embedded inside of a custom application, you have to actually build a middleware piece, and that's going to be a web service. And so what the web service does, basically, when the chat fires up, it actually go out and talk to Microsoft to pull back what they call a conversation ID. And so basically, in a nutshell, they wanted to have it deployed, not necessarily using a typical platform like Teams, but in a web application that they can deploy on their servers or ultimately out on the cloud. So basically, that is what I did to pretty much solve the service desk problem, going from bodies to a virtual agent. And it's been about probably 6 or 7 months. The first month or whatever, we had a few pain points, but after probably the first month and a half, users are slow to adopt to a chatbot or virtual agent. They're saying, I don't need somebody on the phone. Somebody on the phone. I mean, so once they got used to the idea of actually interacting with the agent, because what the agent does, basically it's composed of a series of prompts, conversational type prompts that ask you like, what's your problem? It's going to be a hardware problem, software problem, blah 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 blah. And basically, it actually is a chatbot. So, and we've all interact with those on like several websites that you visit. We interact with those all the time. And basically, based on your prompts, whatever you ask it, it either creates a service ticket for you automatically, or it pretty much gives you some suggestions. And basically, it's one of those accomplishments that I can truly say that I'm very, very, very proud of in my career. Now, what I'm doing now is Copilot Studio actually introduced a different way of of creating your agents, and it's called orchestration. Basically, the version that I'm exploring as a refactor of that virtual agent is going to consist of what they call sub-agents. And so there'll be agents, there'll be agents that utilize the concept of orchestration, whereas based on if you have one agent, you have one agent per use case, then based on whatever you type in at your prompt, it'll basically navigate to the different types of agents based on your use cases. It's called orchestration. Very, very good feature that Microsoft just introduced in Copilot Studio, and I'm excited to dive into it. And that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Basically, it was one of my use cases in regards to how we go from bodies to a virtual agent to solve real world problems. All right. Guys, have a good day.